Is it egotistical of me, or maybe perhaps even Sean, that we just want to listen to that and let it play?
No.
You know what?
It is a badass thing. No.
If it's coming from me, it's not, right? Even though it's our show song, right? Like it's not.
So it's kind of ridiculous. I've been super self-conscious about super self-conscious about that intro for the longest time, and the longer and longer I hear it, and I mean to this point now, I'm like, that's a bitchin' intro. I was like, that's a good song, and sometimes I think, man, I'm like, man, that sounds really good, and then I go, oh yeah, I wrote that, and then I'm like, and so as long as I don't think about it, I'm like, man, this sounds really good. I'm actually kind of missing the rest of the intro since we haven't heard it in so long.
So am I.
And I'm also missing the outro.
Yeah, the full piece where it does the changes and everything. Yeah, I'm missing the drums from Eric on that part. The intro of the drums with the little off timing and everything that he's got going on in that intro is really good.
We're getting closer. I'm fooling around with it as I have time to so that we can start. First off, we can stop the crash at the end of the intro, but so that we can play both.
Well,
welcome to Vagabond Nerds, right?
Okay.
Hold on. Let
Never
Jason
mind.
speak.
I'm out. Fuck it.
Hey, you just dropped the first.
Yeah, that's the one and only F-bomb.
Don't do that. Jeez.
All right, come on, Jason. We need you back here, dude.
No, I'm gonna block him now.
Oh,
and I didn't even do it. He did it himself.
Come on. I know he did it himself. No, we need him back.
Are you done being a prima donna?
What were you gonna say? You have a delay on your side.
No, the moment's gone. The moment's gone. Raymond doesn't want me to talk. I'll just sit here. The moment's gone. The moment's gone. So, I don't know. Go spend money over at Titan. He's got your geeky accoutrement. I don't know why he puts up with this shit. I don't know why I put up with this shit.
Mommy and daddy fighting makes me want to drink.
Dude, what is wrong with you today, man? You're dropping swears. You blew the first F-bomb inside of 2 minutes. Like, what are you okay? Are you okay? Do you need a hug or something?
I like a hug, yes.
I mean, not from any one of us on the show, but would you like a hug?
Maybe. I'm just saying.
You've got
I was
a wife
at a super
for that.
spreader last night. I'm not going to come see anybody today.
I was at a super spreader. My God, dude.
Dude, I was. I'm not joking. That's not even a joke. All right, so
no, I know you're not joking. It's just how you said it. I was at a super spreader. I can't do that.
All right, listen. First and foremost, hi everybody. Welcome to Vagabond Nerds. Now we're going to get into the meat of the situation here. By the way, go buy shit from Jeremy at Titan Comics. But seriously, folks, put your damn masks on, right? So we were at a friend's wedding yesterday, and I'm so happy that he got married, and it was a very beautiful wedding. It was great. I had little kids walking down the aisle with these cute little signs, and the first kid walking down the aisle for some reason decided, and I don't think it was planned, to hold the sign from his mouth, because they look like you're supposed to like put them over your head, and they're like signs that sit on front of you, and it says stuff like it said like here she comes, or just wait, she's coming, or whatever, different things of like watch for your bride,
things as he gets older he'll never be able to accomplish.
Yeah, exactly. Your life is over, those sorts of things on these kids. And so the first kid was walking down, and he's got it in his mouth like this, and everybody was laughing, and it was cute. And I was like, that is actually pretty cute. I have a heart. It's in here somewhere. And every once in a while, it thumps a bit.
Yeah, keep going, Grinch.
But it was cute, But everybody there were a total of 6 people at this wedding wearing masks. A total of 6. And this place was packed. It was me, my wife, 2 of our friends, their 4-year-old, 5-year-old son, and the over 80 woman in the wheelchair, 1 row up and 3 chairs over from me.
Morning, Kim. We're talking about grandmas.
That's it. And so it's like we were sitting in the very back right corner, and it was just like the entire dude. The place was full. I've never seen turnout at a wedding like this before. Never been. And I've been to several. Even Catholic weddings, they don't show up for that crap because they're like, I'm going to church on Sunday.
Yeah, because it's free.
Yeah, they're like, I'm going to church on Sunday.
Because when I'm at a Catholic wedding, how many?
Yeah, they're like, I'm not doing church. I'm not doing church twice this week. I'm only coming on Sunday. So I'm very happy you're getting married. We'll be at the reception to get drunk with you and the priest. We're not coming to this damn wedding. So, but it wasn't a Catholic wedding. It was a very nice ceremony. But legit, dude, nobody. I forget. Sorry, the other people wearing masks. The servers who were working behind the scenes that you didn't see, because all the other staff that was there attending the wedding, I guess you'd say, they were out front greeting you with no masks on. And I was just like, y'all do realize that, like, even though we're all vaccinated, we could still spread it to grandma who's up here in the front row. And it's great that she has a mask, but y'all are all still coughing over her. And
so
like,
I'm still,
come on, just put a mask on. Just put a damn mask on. It's not hard.
And
it's
with
not
that
hard.
thought, my whole thing is this, right? Because I have kids, because I'm vaccinated, because everything that's going on. I do want to say this, though. How about you, not you specifically, I'm talking about you in general.
The proverbial you.
The proverbial you.
The proverbial you. Yeah,
How about we not be jerks to each other, though?
I wasn't mean to anybody.
No. I'm not talking
again.
Not talking about you.
Well, I mean, kicking
I
your
have had.
grandmother is
Hold on,
probably
Scooby.
Killing a grandmother is actually pretty rude. I mean,
hold that thought, Jason. But
that's
what I
kind of
cannot
high on
stand,
the level of hijinks, as far as like, you're a real knucklehead, man. You killed her. That was real rude.
I'll tell you though. What gets me though is the exact opposites on each side. From those who don't want to take the vax to those who are pro-vax. Guys, talk to each other without the anger, without the hatred, without just the utteral rage, because it's right. I'm so hold on. I am tired, and I got this conversation from two different sides. Okay. I am tired of people saying, "Oh my God, you took the vaccine, you're going to kill us. Oh my God, you didn't take the vaccine, you're going to kill us." How would you feel if your child died from that? How would I feel if my child died from a car accident? I'm not going to hate the car.
No, they're missing the point, because it's not. The point isn't get the vaccine or don't get the vaccine. The point is to what you're trying to say is we need to be thinking of one another and not thinking of ourselves. Less thinking of yourself, more thinking of the whole. Even if you don't want to get the vaccine, that's fine. Don't get the vaccine. I personally, I'm going to say I think you're being ridiculous about that. I understand your fears, though, right? Because who knows? What are the long-term effects? You know what I mean? How is this going to affect us several years down the road? And
if you have kids, that's a developmental stage.
Exactly.
You want to make sure, you know.
Children, and that's why children aren't really allowed to get the vaccine. Like, I know there are particulars about it. But you shouldn't be rude to one another to the point where you're calling somebody a demon or a beast or whatever you want to call them for getting the vaccine or not getting the vaccine. But I think common courtesy dictates that, you know.
That's so cute.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Yeah, that's been gone a long time, friend. I don't get where you're coming up with this.
Well, listen, my mother raised me to have common courtesy, and it's a travesty that I grew up to learn that so many of these other individuals didn't do the same.
And that's why I'm so
angry all the time.
I'm so tired of this conversation. I feel icky that we're a part of it, but we have to be because
I'm sweating. Like I'm sitting here sweating because it's frustrating. But now, seriously.
Wait, you're seriously sweating over this conversation?
I'm legitimately sweating over this.
I literally don't like even talking about this because I just want everyone. This is going to sound so cliched, so stupid, and everything else. I wish we could all love each other. I wish we could all sit there and respect each other. And I wish
Rodney King. Every day, man.
Wish we could hope for each other again like we used to. And that's what I want to spread.
The good side of Rodney King, not the let's beat him Rodney King. Can't we all just get along, Rodney King? Right? I'm on Rodney King's side. I'm not on the side of the cops who are like, let's beat the shit out of Rodney King. So,
oh my gosh, we actually went there today. Good morning.
The sad thing is, I think some people do have a choice of that. They'll be like, yeah, Rodney King. And you're like, no, dude, I don't think you mean it the way I mean it. Because they're just like, yeah, beat the guy. And you're like, no, that's not what I meant at all. I meant like Rodney King is like good Rodney King.
So we need to actually like start the show is what I feel. Because I want to talk about good and happy things.
I'm just going to say
Exactly, Kim. Exactly. And speaking of violence, this bad boy was just introduced.
Mm-hmm. That's
this,
yeah. So,
Sean, you were pumped about this. Ha!
I still am.
Talk about it, bud. What is this? What are we looking at?
All right, so we're looking at the M41A pulse rifle replica from Nerf Hasbro. It's that's the pulse rifle from Aliens, the sequel to Alien. I used to run around the house with whatever Nerf weapon I had at the time, pretending I was shooting this pulse rifle because holy crap. It was amazing to see it in the movie, and it was, the movie was fantastic. It was so interesting to see the change from what was effectively a space horror isolation movie, much like The Thing. Right. If you look at the two of them, they're almost side by side kind of comparison. The same idea. You've got Thing and you've got Aliens. One's in a remote location stuck in Alaska or the Antarctic? No, the Antarctic. And then the other one's obviously in space. But this is the 38th year anniversary, I believe, of the release of the movie Aliens. So Hasbro decided to do something special for them, and they released the pulse rifle that I had wished they had released for sweet Jesus, I don't know how long ago. It looks fantastic. So it's got, I think it only has like a 10 dart clip because the darts, it can't hold 100 rounds like it did in the movie, obviously. But it fires small mini darts, fires them full auto. It's got a counter just like it has on the side, just like in the movie, that counts down from 100, even though it's not really 100, but it counts down as you fire the darts. It's got a pump action, large dart grenade launcher on the bottom with a secondary trigger, just like from dude, it's fantastic. It looks phenomenal.
I love the counter. I love the counter.
I sent the picture to my mom and I was like, look what they made. And she even sent back, holy shit. And she goes, are you going to get one? I was like, I already pre-ordered it. You can pre-order these from GameStop. I am very excited about this.
I'm stoked.
I am a little bummed by the paint scheme because obviously the original paint scheme was Army Drab, right? It was the Army Drab green and black. But as Ray and I have mentioned, I think off camera before, I'm looking forward to probably taking this thing apart and painting it, or at least masking what I can't take apart and painting it to spec.
For sure. As we were talking, like I've had experience in doing one and I really enjoyed it. So I'm pumped about this one. And then you've got just an awesome friend who can help with this to get it exactly to that.
Yeah,
she's fantastic.
She's amazing.
Yeah,
her builds, her builds are phenomenal. She did she just recently did, I think, a 3 or 4 story fantasy house build.
Beautiful. I want to buy it from her.
And she actually used real stucco to make the outside walls to make it look more authentic. Yep. She's amazing. Her Wonder Woman costume that she built from scratch was
fantastic.
Was stellar. She did the Gamora costume one year for one of the Comic-Cons here in Dallas.
And even the simple one, the one that she did for A League of Their Own, even that one was
her baseball, her outfit for the baseball thing. And she just recently built a Gears of War vest.
Yeah, I saw.
She's got that built, and she was building. I think she finished up the blaster for it too, with the chainsaw on the front of it, and she added lights to it. So she added LEDs. She does soldering. She builds the whole thing. Man, she's
fantastic.
She's fantastic for numerous reasons, but her build skill level is on point.
Very much so. We do have topics today.
Practice. Kim, it comes. You just got to jump in and start making stuff. Because I haven't, but I need to. That's her little tree in the background that she made for me. Well, she didn't make it for me. I asked her if I could have it because I freaking love it. And I was like, this tree is awesome. Can I have it? But you just go try, do some stuff, practice. That's all you got to do. It'll come to you. Yeah. Believe me, it will.
I'll tell you, Kim, because I know you do some custom stuff with dice and everything. Keep on that path, because I started with a mask, just trying to get it to a Spider-Gwen for my daughter, and that came out really good. And the second time was Star-Lord's gun, and it took some time, but it came out exactly how it did. I was surprised at how far shoe polish can go and what it does to age anything. So I've done a few pieces now where I feel pretty confident, including not Mattel. I think it's Hot Wheels. The last Batmobile for the Batman versus Superman came out, and it was this bright gray for some reason. And I went back and I customed it so it would fit more in line with the previous models. But it's easier than you think. If a numbnut like me can do it, everyone can do it. So anyway,
real quick, a great how-to on. Oh, good! I actually get to talk this episode. One Day Builds with on YouTube with Adam Savage. If you want to learn how to do a lot of the prop making, that's what he does. And he shows like these 1 day builds, and there's so many tricks that he has on there that you're like, wow, I mean, it looks really, really good without spending a lot of time or money on it. And he was a legit prop maker. That's what he did. That's where the whole Mythbusters thing came from. And he worked on Star Wars. Like he helped in the early seasons, they actually showed him helping to build like the Camino and RIP Camino, the Kaminoan buildings that you see in episode 2.
Yeah, his Adam Savage's 1 day builds are a really fun thing to watch, and he's done tons of stuff with Nerf already because he loves that. I mean, he loves doing that kind of crap. And I watched him.
Oh yeah, he does.
I can't remember what build it was that he did with Nerf, but I think it was one of the Destiny blasters.
I think it was
one of the Destiny hand cannons. I could have been wrong. I could be wrong about that. I'm wrong about a lot of things. But yeah, I watched that, and it was
true.
Yes, thank you, Jason. Thank you.
You're
Appreciate that. Yeah, it was. He does a lot of cool shit.
Yeah.
So
he did several swords that were really, really interesting how he did them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they look amazing. Yeah.
Nice.
He's a Hellboy fan, so I'm all for it.
Oh, I'm glad somebody is. Actually, I love the books. The comics are superb.
Yeah. The Hellboy's great, dude. Hellboy's a great idea, and the lore and everything. It's a great that's a great comic series. And the first movie is good. I don't care what you say. First movie is good.
Okay.
My dog just tried to get in here, but I just heard her head go thunk on my door. You're not cool. You're not Kool-Aid your way into this one, bitch.
Oh my goodness.
All it was missing was the oh yeah on the other side of the door.
The Kool-Aid. Oh no. Let's start with trailers because there's only one that we really need to talk about today. And Sean, you'll be happy to know I could have done this off air, but I wanted to do this on. That cutting back and forth does not get us in trouble.
All right, good for us.
So we're good.
It's nice to not try it live. It's nice to try it before it happens so that you don't got to learn it on the fly.
I did try it before the last time.
Despite the way you typically like to run things, maybe you should try it before it goes live.
Oh, inside IT jokes.
By the way, if you haven't found this or tried this yet,
what is that? Lower it down a little bit, bud.
Just a little bit further down.
There you go.
Pineapples, okay. Is
pineapple sour with lactose from? It's called Mega Fast Jellyfish. It's phenomenal. But be careful. It's 10% alcohol, and it sneaks up on you.
I am already there with it.
It doesn't taste like you're drinking beer at all. This tastes like you're sitting in a rocking chair enjoying a refreshing cold iced tea of some sort with dude, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. This does not taste like beer. If you don't like beer, and you like fruity kind of drinks, you'll probably dig this.
As I'm drinking some black raspberry water.
Yeah, no one cares about that, Ray. Move on.
Yeah, I know.
No.
Jason, you want to repeat what Kim just said?
No, I do not.
Beer tastes like if you liked Hobbit has.
So Kim, I hear what you're saying.
You can't actually just put that on the screen. You realize that, right?
I hear what you're saying. Because honestly, there was a long time. There you go. There was a long time where I didn't drink beer, and then or the only beer that I would drink was trash beer, which, sorry, Corona, but you're not going to sponsor this show.
Wow.
Corona, Corona was
no COVID here.
Used to drink Corona and Corona Extra Light or Extra whatever all the time, and that was just like, yeah, that's the only beer. I was like, yeah, this one's okay, but like Bud Light and all that other stuff, I was like, hell no. And then one day I had a Shiner.
This makes it worse.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I know what she meant, but I was like,
either one works. Either one.
Yeah,
works.
it works either way. Yeah.
Eternals. The Eternal trailer finally dropped. You
gotta find a good beer that you like, Kim. You just gotta find a good one. There's tons of good beer out there. Yeah. That don't taste like hot.
Not if you're trying to drink less carbs though. Just
throwing
it out there.
Absolutely not. If you're trying to drink less carbs, you're probably never going to find one that you'll like.
Those are reserved for cheat days, and yes, believe it or not, I'm trying to, and I'm going to say it on this show because it'll keep me motivated not to keep lying or not do what I'm doing, but trying to lose weight, and so.
Please, a lot of
beers I used to have.
Get on board with it.
Beers I used to have. I can't drink as many, not if it's during the week.
I still have some Temptress with the salted caramel.
Yeah,
still have salted caramel Temptress.
Wasn't my favorite one.
It had a burnt taste to it. It was really strange. It was really strange.
I almost thought it might have been that batch. That it might have been that batch. I don't
Maybe,
know.
Dude. I don't know.
This is the point of Vagabond. We were going everywhere today. We are living up to the name.
Yeah. I'm going to go buy another 4-pack of this when I leave here. When this is done today, this is my one. I only have one of these at a time. 10% alcohol is no joke. So,
which I'm finding out as you lose weight, you can't not drink as much as you used to.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Eternals did drop their final trailer. I'm more happy for it. I'm better with it, right? I gotta tell you, anytime I see, certain individuals and the storyline going through, like it's getting better.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know how I feel about it. Selma Hayek, I will forever be in love with. I don't care what anyone says.
Ever since Desperado.
Yeah, for sure.
Ever since Desperado. Yeah.
But they go into some explanation in this about why they didn't join in that fight.
That's what I was gonna say. I love the fact that somebody mentioned that. Yes, it was one of the buzz, clickbaity, buzzy headlines, and it said something about how yes, the movie will explain why they didn't interfere during the snap, and which I would love to see. You know what? That would be a fun flashback to see in the movie, or a moment to see in the movie, where if they're standing all together and it's like somebody looks around and goes, "Oh, here it is," and like 3 of them just turn to dust, and they go,
"Yeah,
really nothing we could do about that." And then later they like materialize or come back out of those. I don't know. I think that would be fun to see that happen, but whatever.
That was key
that looks
for me.
Good.
The Celestials.
Yeah.
Did you actually show the Celestial because it wasn't on the screen?
Yeah, it was. But we can definitely come back and go through that.
Well, we could always pause it and just look at the frame because we're not showing anything, so it should be okay.
Yeah.
But it's definitely
Dusk Till Dawn was good. Yeah. Although she didn't have as good of a part in that. She was just a vampiress and she died fairly early on. So it's like, but yeah, that looks great.
That looks ripped from the pages.
It does. It absolutely does.
Jason's going to disagree with me, and I know he will because he'll go to an earlier time when they were introduced. But to me, this reminds me
ruled the world
of Alex Ross and his Earth X series with how the Celestials were done.
No, I agree.
I love it. This is one step closer to Galactus for sure.
Oh yeah.
So, again, I'm more hyped for this movie now. Maybe it was the fact that I needed to see it instead of just the
characters.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you have no real talk except for I could lead the Avengers, it just felt out of place. And I get that it's a teaser trailer, but it didn't really tease much. You know, there was no real story to it, and that's what started getting me worried about it.
That's what teaser trailers are. You know what? You have lack of teaser trailer fatigue.
I might. I might.
It's a thing, Ray. It's a thing. I just coined it, but it's a thing.
It's you know what? You know what's not a thing is the No Way Home trailer for Spider-Man 3. I love Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige staying on that was like, you're gonna get one before the movie, promise. If they drop it 2 weeks before the movie, I would be completely satisfied with that.
I would too, because I you know, how long ago? Again, like movie trailers. Dude, I really think it's just as important as the movie. I think it's an art. You have to be able to tease enough of the film so that somebody wants to see it, but not so much that, you know, you reveal that we're going to see the bad guy that kills Superman in the end of, you know, like, don't show me
tease Doomsday and Wonder Woman.
Don't show me the, oh my God, did this just happen moments in the freaking trailer. Mm-hmm. It needs to be something, and even this, like, you know, some of this is like, I would rather, if you stop showing everybody every single amazing in the trailers, but then they hear from their friend, what do you mean you didn't go see it? And you're like, the trailer didn't look very good. And then your friend says, dude, are you crazy? All the good shit is in the movie. Go watch the movie. Then that person has to go to the theater and watch the movie.
Brian, just to let you know, you've missed us being really, really, really all over the place today.
If you just wait and show if you don't wait and you just show everybody everything right here in the trailers, like this kind of stuff, which I'm like, it's still kind of But if you give away the plot, if you give away the twist in the movie, what was that? Genesis, Terminator,
Genesis,
Terminator. Oh wait, hold on. Also, was it Dark Fate? Yeah, I think it was also Dark Fate. Wait a minute. Too. Was it also?
If it was a Terminator movie,
yeah, if it was after,
they ruined it.
If it was after Terminator 2 Judgment Day,
Terminator 1, because even in Terminator 2 they messed up.
Yeah.
But nobody paid attention to that. You didn't know it was going to happen. It was still early enough that nobody knew, right?
Oh, it was.
Nowadays, it's just like you ruin the entire film by. So it's an art form. Trailer is an art form just as much as the movie is, as much as editing is, as much as acting is. It's a homogenous relationship that needs to exist between trailers and movies and everybody, so that they can show you just as much as you need to bring people into the theaters, but not so much that you take somebody who may know a little bit about the subject material or whatever and ruin the movie for them. You got to be careful with that.
Hold on. So let me agree with Sean on one big point, and then let's actually talk about this trailer. I would argue that's one of the things that killed John Carter of Mars. Were the trailers, because John Carter of Mars was a great movie. It was a lot of fun. It was a good adaptation, but I agree. I think the trailers are what killed it. So I completely agree with Sean on this. Trailers are important. Now, to actually talk about this trailer, I think a lot of what we're seeing is really just from the opening, right? As far as like the big flashy stuff, I think this is all like I don't think the twist on this has been revealed. Although I do sort of agree with Kim's comment. I think was it Kim? Is that this is going
feel
to
better, bud.
Yeah, Don, go.
Yeah,
go.
Get some rest, man.
All right, sorry, Jason.
Vitamin C. Yeah, vitamin C.
No, screw that. Hot toddy. Go to bed.
Doesn't preclude vitamin C. You just take the vitamin C with your hot toddy. That's what I do. Anyway, but the idea that Angelina Jolie's character is going to end up being the mother of Thanos in this one. But I don't know if they're necessarily going to intertwine it that much, because in the comics, Thanos is a
deviant.
Is a deviant. Well, he's an eternal / deviant. He's both. He
has the gene for it, is what it is.
Right. Which is why they almost try to kill him in the comics, the whole 9 yards. But the thing is, they've already sort of established him as a Titan, so I think they may go a different direction in the film. But I think that it would be interesting if they did do that. Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. The reason why I feel better about this trailer than their first two is their first two really just didn't do anything for me. This one's at least kind of piqued my interest. I definitely don't want them to do a Black Widow trailer release where they just want to let everything be known. Same thing, Shang-Chi. I don't feel like we've seen anything, although comicbook.com, I love you. I really do. But you got to ease up on your spoiler headings because some of us would like to go into the movie not knowing what's going on. Just
I still don't know yet, so let's just.
I'm not even going to say it. That's all I'm saying.
I understand.
You know, I like the fact that it's not giving away that much. And Kevin Feige, though, granted, we are going to get a trailer eventually for No Way Home. I know we will. The thing that we posted the last time, if you read it in the very, it's grayed out, but at the very bottom it says, did not say that there would not be a trailer. But I thought to myself, I was like, but how cool would it be if you didn't have a trailer and that's exactly how you promoted that movie was No Way Home, not even a poster of anyone or anything that's going to be in it, just the spider symbol and the title. That's it.
The only way you would be able to know what's going on is to go see the movie. That's it. Mm-hmm. How many people would you draw out of sheer curiosity to go look at that?
Yep.
I mean, it's Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah.
You don't know if it's alive or dead. You got to figure it out. You're going to open the box.
But it has that smell.
It has that smell. Or doesn't.
Or doesn't.
That could just be the hard-boiled egg. It maybe it had a hard-boiled egg earlier, and it's just got that smell. You don't know.
And smelly cat is a thing, man.
Smelly cat. Yeah, Phoebe was right. It happens. Phoebe was right. I mean, what are they feeding you?
Back to the trailer. I actually get to talk this episode. It's amazing. This makes me feel slightly better. I'm still, again, Ray and I have been going back and forth on this. I was the most excited for it, but then post Black Widow, now I'm very leery of it. But now I'm back to being slightly more, but still leery because of the writing. It's like, okay, we're finally getting the freaking Eternals. We get the embryo. I think maybe the embryo is how they're going to introduce mutants.
I would love for that to be the connection, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, having it in Marvel, in the proper MCU, having that lead to the first set of Inhumans. Not the crap that we saw on ABC, but a legitimate, background story for it. And introducing it proper, not rushing it and just saying, oh, there are mutants, but slowly starting to sow the seed so that not phase 4, but phase 5, we start seeing this being dropped in more and more.
Yeah.
Maybe even more so than doing the multiverse thing.
Right. Go full Earth X on this.
I think
that would be I think that'd be wonderful. Just say that way. It's like, why there's a resurgence? Say there have been mutants here and there, but then the emergence that they're going to try and postpone or find a way to do without destroying the Earth. That is what kicks off this new wave of mutants. I think
they could take that, use it, and bring Apocalypse into it if they were going to go that route.
Oh, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You could do the whole thing. Just say because in the comics. So to Kim's point, in the comics, the Celestials created the Eternals, the Deviants, and then they manipulated humanity that would eventually create mutants. Now in Earth X, which I think Marvel Comics has sort of adopted a lot of the ideas behind that is that mutants have were created to protect the planet as sort of the idea was is that alien species were less likely to colonize a planet that had life on it already, but that the closer it would get to maturation, right, would require the use of superhumans to protect it. So essentially mutants were designed to allow the egg to actually hatch and create a Celestial and wipe out humanity. So it's a.
Can you see that I'm trying to move Jason to What If now?
Okay, didn't we not spend 15 minutes talking about your alcohol consumption?
But hold on. The reason I'm bringing that up, Jason, and the reason that I'm showing that is because I think
that really came to an end on that.
It's not even that. I think that kind of feeds into this what if, and seeing this
But a lot of this feeds in. Well, not just feeds into what if. Look at all the most recent. I mean, not necessarily the first two, right? Not necessarily WandaVision or Winter Soldier. Captain America, Winter Soldier, Falcon, Winter Soldier. Yeah, I saw that. And she's right. But we're getting into this era of we're starting to see a lot of. They are bringing the space heavy shit into Marvel a lot. I mean, with Loki and with the What If and the Watcher, and we're going into, Guardians 3 is going to be coming at some point soon, and then the Eternals, and then Shang-Chi, the 10 rings are no longer 10 rings.
which I love.
They're from an alien spacecraft. And they've been in the trailer in the trailer they mention the fact that this thing crashed on Earth or whatever, and they found these rings. So I mean,
that's always been the story, but they no longer fit on your.
They're fit on your fingers. That's the whole rings and bands on the arms. But so this whole thing, dude, they are really bringing the space heavy theme here, and and Ray, I think you mentioned it a moment ago where you said this gets us another step closer towards Galactus.
Yep.
They are planting seeds for a big sort of, mega space war at some point.
I love Secret Wars.
I would love to see, and this is what they're kind of starting to talk about, is Secret Wars, but not from the more recent adaptations or the more recent storylines for Secret Wars, but the original space Secret Wars. I would love to see that played out.
Yeah.
Because it's massive in scope, but also, I keep waiting for Marvel to fail, and they've had stumbles, but they've never really fallen. I don't know, right? But I just, there's something really will make me want to get up and go out and be like, I got to go see Shang-Chi day one. No, not really. Same thing with the.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Not really.
Ching. What is? Try it again.
Shang-Chi.
You want to have another shot at that?
No.
Okay.
Because now I'm doing it on purpose. But seriously though, there's nothing that's really driving me to want to go see either one of these day one. Not like Dune, right? Like Dune, I want to get out there and I want to be able to see it. But I don't know. But going into What If, we've had 2 episodes drop, and the first episode that dropped was the Captain Carter. Thoughts, go. I'm going to let y'all speak a little bit on this one before I go into my rant.
It's so I'm going to try. Let me try to approach it from. I'll try to approach it from seeing it just on its own and not having seen the second one. Not the second episode. It's super fast, and it felt like, it's so interesting. It felt like reading a comic book. It really gave me a feel of reading a comic book. As quick as it was, as quick it went through, more believable. Romantic. Yeah, that was good. It was good. It went through it so fast.
Came with a second drop today, by the way.
No, that's not a drop. You can put that in. You can put that in type all you want. Still PG-13 right now. Because kids can't read. So, especially not nowadays.
Not this generation.
It just felt like it. I don't know how else to say it. It felt like a comic book, and I enjoyed the difference in the stories. I enjoyed as soon as you got past the whole, this is kind of weird because it feels like they're redoing the same thing over again. Same thing animated. Yeah, it's just as soon as I got past that point, which was basically when it changed. When she gets into the super soldier pod instead of Steve, it was like at that point I was just like, okay, this is interesting, and then I just kind of got lost. I turned my brain off and got sucked in at that point.
Keep going, man.
So the first one, I mean, I liked the first one. I thought it was really good. Episode 1, I at the end of it, I was like, that was fun. You know what I mean? At the end of it, that's just how I felt. I was like, that was fun. That was good.
Yeah.
It was exactly as long as it needed to be. I don't think we need to do a series based on this. I don't think I want to see any type of, hey, let's create a whole 6-part miniseries. Yeah. I don't want to do any of that. I just enjoyed seeing the What If episode on a one-off.
Jason?
That was how I felt.
I'm kind of with Sean. I think it was beautifully animated. It's
points on the animation all around.
Yeah, I mean, just absolutely. It's beautifully animated. It was, like I said, it was well done. I felt like they did kind of dumb it down a little bit, but I think the problem is you only have 22 minutes or however long it was to tell
35.
the story. 35 to tell the story.
Like that,
so it's like, yeah. So it's like they had to. So it kind of felt rushed, but it had to be. Mm-hmm. But it's like it told the story. It did it quickly. It was a good what if. Like, again, from someone who read the comics, it's like, this is what you want out of what if. It's like, well, what if it was this versus this? And you get to see how, what I love was the little similarities that also created within the differences. Because like they recreate a lot of scenes shot for shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it was nice. It really, anybody who's a fan of the first Avenger can also enjoy and relate to this, which I am. I mean, despite despite Guardians being probably still my top favorite films in the overarching, phase 1 through 4 of these movies, my second favorite for any type of, and even I would say first favorite for realism, is the Captain America trilogy. That I could watch that trilogy start to finish with no other interference between any of the other ones. It is one of the best. It's just the best. It is so good. They did such a job with Captain America. So seeing this what if, I think it still carried that feeling. Even though it was Agent Carter, it still had that feeling. And I think they did a good job with that. I really do. Yeah. I think they did a really good job with it.
Agree.
My only complaint on it, I loved it. First off, do not get me wrong. It did feel like I was back in my youth watching a Saturday morning cartoon. And I mean that both as a compliment and a little bit of a dig. The writing felt a little bit laxed on it. The writing felt incomplete in certain places for it. I thought it was a good first episode, but I thought it could have been better.
What do you mean?
Again, because it just felt some of the lines felt a little bit forced. I wanted there to be a little bit more. Maybe that's me being a Kevin Smith fan, right? Because there's someone else that doesn't ever really stop talking. But I just felt like some of the writing could have been a little bit better than what we saw. A little bit more geared toward a more mature audience, not a complete mature audience, right? Because that's not the point of it.
But you had 30 to 35 minutes to tell all of Captain America, the first Avenger, in a completely new way.
You're absolutely right. And again,
how are you going to do that faster than that?
So hold on. Better than not knowing the second episode at the time I got done watching this first one. That's just how I felt. Going into the T'Challa episode for episode 2, that writing was on point. It felt more complete.
We can talk about that in a minute, sure, but you want to stick with the first one before you go on to the second one?
That's the difference in the writing, though, and that's what I'm trying to say. It just felt like they were more focused, that they had their little moments with the characters. Yes, they did. They absolutely did. But they weren't as strong as I thought they could have been. And I just thought, this is a cool story. I loved it. I love the fact that, Carter got it. I love the fact that that romance between them, to Kim's point, was stronger. But I don't know. The writing just did not feel like what we've seen prior to these episodes with anything that Marvel does, anything that's within the MCU. And even though this is an animated version of it, we know this does play into the MCU proper. It's not thrown aside. Stuff that's happening here, especially with The Watcher, we know that's going to eventually end up playing into something else. So I just thought the writing could have been a little bit better. That's my only gripe on it. That's it. Otherwise, like I said, I felt like I was watching a Saturday morning cartoon, and I enjoyed it.
So I don't know, man. I see it. I see it as a short. I really do. I see it as nothing more than a short. You know what I mean? If this were 15 minutes tacked on to the beginning or the end of a Pixar film, it fits. And I think if you're thinking of it in that same regard, it fits. I don't think it needed to have any more. I mean, I get what you're saying about the idea of the dialogue and trying to, like, there were some moments there where Bucky's lines felt a little off. But at the same time, the source material it's pulling from is so heavy that of course it's going to feel that way. How are you going to pay homage to something that carries that much weight in such a short amount of time? I think that they did a good job with that.
Again, I don't think it's a bad story at all. And I don't think it was a bad episode. I'm just saying that's me personally. That's how.
I know. That's how you feel. I'm just telling you you're wrong. It's fine.
But nobody cares about you.
You're both saying the same thing. The problem you're saying it from two different ways. It's true. Like that's Ray. Your point is it could. Like, okay, so let's transition to the second. Let's use this to transition into the second episode, right? The reason the T'Challa episode works so well, right, is because it's a much tighter story, right? They aren't trying to retell all of Guardians of the Galaxy. They have like the opening scene and a few homages along the way, but other than that, it's a very different story. It's a much tighter story. So to your point, I get what Ray is saying, but I think Sean and I have made the same point, is they were trying to do this entire movie in this amount of time, whereas with T'Challa, the writing could be more on point because they only did like this much of that story and then did their own thing entirely. And they allowed for a more concise, tighter conversation. So that's where. So that brings us into this second episode,
and it had,
which may be the best of the season. I thought
this story had more heart. And I'm not just talking. I had this conversation. I'm not just talking about with the What If series. This episode, and it has nothing to do with the passing of Chadwick Boseman, right? Like it was horrible. It did at the end add some, sorrow to it, and their dedication to him was fantastic and executed really well. But it had nothing to do with that. Every character seemed to be on point in this short, and it was. I love the interaction. They made, the whole thing with Thanos was very much. It had nothing to do. I was gonna say it had nothing to do with Thanos, oh, that's just because of whatever. No, it was because T'Challa, that's the type of person he was. He was able to sit down with the Mad Titan and say, let me tell you where you're wrong. And
he was a diplomat. He was a king.
Exactly. And that's what made this one so. Everything was tighter. The character focuses were better. The scenes, the dialogue was better written, I felt. And this makes easily, out of all of the Disney Plus Marvel stuff that we've seen, this is easily in my top 3 best episodes that they've done across all 4 of these Plus series.
So I'm the voice of dissent here. This was the only, so far I thought this was a really, really weak episode.
Really?
Listen, so here's how I felt watching this, right? I understand what they did, and I understand how they did it. And I think to your point, actually to both of your points, this was strong from the source material it's pulling from, right? Because it's a story about family, and it's a story about finding your family, which is exactly what Guardians was. For the same reason that the first Avenger and the source material pulling from that one felt rushed and comic book-esque, was because it takes a longer time to tell a story like that than it does to tell a story like this. This story can be quick, the point can be fast, because we all identify with it, because it hits you deeper because you're talking about family, you're talking about friends, you're talking about a very personal matter, whereas Steve's journey was different. So I mean, it's a different story, so it's a different perspective. This one felt a little goofy to me right from the get-go because of the whole, oh my God, you're Star-Lord. It's the Star-Lord. That whole interaction, it just, for me, it almost took me completely out of it because of that like fanboy worship that was going on between, you know, I forget his name, but you know, the dude with the dude with the thing. But from him,
Korra, that's his name.
So if between him and between the two of them, it just took me out of it. But I will say that what I absolutely felt watching this entire thing was how much I'm going to miss Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa
100%
going forward. I think for anything, and maybe that's what my problem was. Maybe that was my problem. Maybe watching that and realize that, you know, he's no longer here to be T'Challa, to be that you know, that king for us anymore. Maybe that was what I was like, man, this fucking sucks. Oh, sorry, it's completely rated R now. My apologies.
Let it fly.
Doesn't
now,
matter. I think it's absolutely appropriate in this one. But no, seriously, like I was watching it the entire time, and I don't think he did a bad job as Star-Lord. I don't think the story itself was bad. I just don't think this episode was as strong as the first one. I ultimately, the entire time I was watching it, all I could think, cannot believe he's gone, and this is gonna suck because he's not here to be T'Challa anymore. And I mean, that's a shallow point because I mean, given, right? So many of his friends and family are like, he's not just we lost Jason.
Oh, we lost Jason.
Yeah, I saw his connection was going all kinds of wonky there. But you know, it's far be it from me to be a shallow observer and just say, oh darn, we don't have him to be T'Challa anymore, because his family would be like, we loved him, he was a soul for us. And it's like, yeah, but I think he brought that soul to the character, and it's a shame that he's not here to be here with us anymore for that, you know.
And
so
as much as I wanted to see them, or as much as I wanted to see him continue, and then as much as I was like, no, I don't think we should never cast T'Challa again, this episode does remind me, like, yeah, I don't think you'd have another actor step into this role, because
you're not going to have
has
someone fill
such a
his shoes,
stamp
man.
on it. It's just,
you're not going to have someone fill his shoes. It's not possible. It's not possible. They're going to have to come up with their own way to move on with this. And I, if they decide to do it, I mean, and I know that Marvel is really trying to figure out how to do it, but I will say, all right. I don't want to be the person who makes predictions, but you know, I've said, and if I'm wrong, I'll go back on it, because I've totally done that before. Or not go back on it, but I'll admit my mistake. Much like Guardians 2, right? I've mentioned to you, Ray, before, where I'm like, it's grown on me and I like it more now, so it's fine. But no, straight up, I think if Marvel's going to fail, they're going to fail with Black Panther 2.
I hope not. It's got a lot riding on it. But I don't think it's. I don't necessarily think it's because they don't want to succeed or they're not going to try as hard as they can. I honestly think that the reason they're going to fail is because how are you going to live up to Chadwick's performance? I mean, dude, he was T'Challa. He embodied he did such a good job in that role. If you hadn't killed Killmonger,
that's true,
you might have had a chance at a redemption arc.
You could
build on this.
I could see that,
and to really have,
I could see that,
you know, Michael B. Jordan's character start portraying this redemption arc based off T'Challa, and you might have had a shot. I know there's a lot of stuff that's going on with the second one. I'm just curious. You know, at the end of the day, everyone's like, "Oh, we got to give it to Shuri and everything else," which is a good point. But I don't know. I don't know how they're going to pull it off. I do wish them the best, but I think you're right. I think that could be a real potential problem, and it's sad, because I would love to see. We all would love to see more Chadwick, not just for the movie, but just, again, like you said, his family, his friends, and everything else, those that were close. So, Jason, for some reason, decided to text us to let us know that his internet was down, as if we couldn't tell.
He was courteous enough to let us know that the whole house's internet is down. It's not just because he was tired of listening to you because you're a jackass. Listen, I wanted to like this, and I'll say this much about it. The voice act. I think the voice acting in this one was better than the voice acting was in the winner in Captain Carter.
Because the only person they didn't bring back was Chris Pratt. That was it.
That was it.
That was it.
Everybody else
was back.
Everybody else played their parts, and they did it perfectly.
And hearing Brolin as a happier Thanos,
was
kind of cool. You know,
it captured the same levity that the original that Guardians did, while still giving itself some weight. So I mean, like I said, I actually was so focused on the fact that I am going to miss Chadwick Boseman going forward that it probably drowned out my enjoyability of the episode. But it wasn't bad. I just still don't feel like it was, for me, as good and entertaining as Captain Carter's was. Captain Carter's, I think they did a great job redoing the entire movie, as it were. And I think if you look at it from a whole perspective of like, you just took this entire movie and condensed it down to 30, 35 minutes. The fact that they were able to pull that off was what impressed me the most. And I think that's why I like it so much, is because I we all understand it. So it's not like I'm smarter than anybody else. I'm definitely not smarter than a lot of people. But I think I'm considering how much work went into that. And I know that they probably put the same amount of work into the other one, but I feel like the other one just came so naturally. So it's like, it doesn't seem like you would have to work as hard on that one. Nebula was great, and the voice actress's name escapes me, but she was in Doctor Who and she was Gillian. Thank you, Karen. Yeah. Is it Jillian or Gillian?
Either one. Her first name's Karen, and she's actually not a Karen.
Is it GIF or JIF? Because that's what it is with Gillian or Jillian.
It's peanut butter is what it is.
Peanut butter. No, she did an amazing job, and Yondu, it was so nice to hear them all again. Gillian, okay, all right, fair enough. Wait, is it Gillian Anderson or Gillian Anderson? What about that actress from? I'm sorry, I could do this for days. It was good. It just wasn't as good to me as the first one was. It just wasn't. But you're right. Their little tribute at the end with their with their sentence at the end was fantastic. I did enjoy that. So.
I tried not to tear up, because for some reason they picked the exact right words for it. And after hearing 35-40 minutes of Chadwick's voice again in a new setting, it was like, man, that's the last time. Like, that's it's kind of it, for new stuff from them. So
Kim, my wife, does the same thing all the time,
even when I'm there.
Right. She did it like 3 times last night. What? I was in a crowd of people, and this is as bad as I am in front of others. So
lastly, and unfortunately, we're not gonna. It looks like we may not have Jason with us to do this, but the Suicide Squad.
Is this? Wait, hold on.
It's been 3 weeks, actually 4 weeks since this came out, and we've put off this review. I guarantee you, somewhere right now, ANX Gamecast Genesis is like trying to be like, oh my god, they're going to talk it, and I'm not here to sit there and bash it or call it trash.
What I think is funny is to your point, it's been 3 weeks, and here we are at the last probably 2 minutes of our entire episode. We're going to talk about a movie that was 2 hours and 15 minutes long.
I'm not worried about not going over today, especially with Jason. And sorry, Jason, for your. It looks like your neighborhood's out on the internet. So
Oh, is it? Damn,
Yeah, it looks like
dude. Ouch. All right.
So,
Well, geez. Well, he's watching us on his phone
yeah,
if he's watching anything.
yeah. So, Jason, if you're on your phone, man, start commenting so we can get your opinion. But,
ooh, there you go.
Thoughts?
So I've watched it twice now.
Which for you is a good sign.
It is a good sign. It is a good sign. I watched it twice now. Okay. The first time I watched it, I can't. It might have been more than 3. Honestly, I don't count. I think 3 is just a good number to throw out there because it leaves options. It's not just 2. It's not 4. It's not too specific. It's a trio. There's always options with that. So, odd numbers are better than evens. It, especially in nature. I think that James Gunn. I saw James Gunn all over this film.
Yep.
And
this is definitely his film.
This is definitely James Gunn's. This is his film. I can see it. I can see it all over him, or all over. I can see him all over this film.
Giggity.
It was a great bait and switch. I was glad they did what they did.
Yep.
In killing those characters off right in the beginning. I think that was
first 10 minutes. Genius.
That was fantastic. It was a fantastic way to go. And I'm not going to go too much into like particulars of every single scene. But what I did like the most about this movie is it took a more I don't know, a humorous. It added some levity, right? It added that James Gunn levity to the approach that the first movie didn't take. The first movie being Suicide Squad. That movie it tried to be serious. Was it David Ayer? It was Ayers. Mm-hmm. David Ayers who did that one. And I mean, kudos to him. I still like the first one. I don't think one is better than the other. I think they're just 2 different movies. I like the first one because the first one actually still exists in this world where the second one exists. It's just that they almost play themselves as being, this one plays itself as a sequel. And I was really surprised by that. This scene was that right there. That's my favorite scene. I'm sorry.
And
that's my favorite. That is
I do want to come back to it.
That is my favorite scene. Not just that right there. When she says that line is my favorite line in the movie. And when she goes, well, I could go back up there and you could still do it. And she's like struck by the fact that everybody was going to come rescue her. She's like, oh my God, somebody cares about me. And it was so on point with Harley Quinn, and it was so on point with that character's development and her full-on story arc from everything she's done, that actress has done in this character.
And what I love about that scene was that the heart that was behind it, but also Flag does care about her, but keeps her at bay, and you can tell that because when he hugs her, he's rubbing her back with the gun. His other hand is like, I don't really want to make contact because I never you're gonna snap. But
it was just that was my ultimate. Like I watched it. Like I said, I've watched it twice now, and I enjoyed it so much the first time. And when I watched it the second time, it almost was touching at that point. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I watched it the second time, because I really felt she is so damaged, and it is so she's so you know that she has so much damage in her past. And for her character to experience that moment, it's like, that's actually a heartfelt, it's a comedic moment, but it's so heartfelt. It's just like, wow, it was amazing. But I love
the utter disregard for all those characters.
James Gunn has this, he's got a style. And I've seen it twice now. And what I've noticed is in this movie, he's growing a bit, but he's still got that style. Yep. That slow walk with the American flag.
Yep.
Guardians of the Galaxy, both times.
Yeah.
They've done that both times. It's been in there. It doesn't matter. Like that slow walk of it's a thing. It happens.
And because he knows it's the money shot.
It's the money shot, and it works in the trailers, and it's going to get people in the theater.
And it's very comic bookish.
Very comic bookish. That's right. What I did appreciate, having watched this twice, James Gunn does a really, especially in this film, he does a really good job of making you dislike the bad guy.
Yeah.
And he does it quick. He gets to the point. It is fast. How many bad guys did this have in it, Ray?
3 main ones.
Okay. Main guy, the General, Doctor Who, Waller, and the Star. It had 5.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
There are 5. Not only not just like minor antagonists. There are 5 main antagonists in this movie, and I did not once feel like I was watching a Sam Raimi film. It was fantastic.
What I'm worried about with Doctor Strange. Very well put.
Fantastic. He absolutely nails. I'm sorry. 6 villains.
Oh, yeah.
6 villains. Peacemaker.
Yeah.
And holy crap, he pulls it off every single time. Like, Waller is going to kill the kid, and you're like, I don't like you. If you were at my bar and you were having a drink, pick a fight with you. You know, she's definitely not a fun person. The dude who was killing who was like, well, we're going to use the Starro to, destroy the United States. Okay, nobody likes that. That's, in just slaughter of mass murdered children, whatever. The General, dude, you killed parrots.
Yeah.
You can't just kill parrots. You can't just because. You can't just kill parrots. That's not. What did they ever do to you? Right? Yep. The Thinker, right? The Thinker. No,
he didn't care who he was testing it on.
Even no. You take that one step further. He had his way with me.
Yeah.
She said that. The Starro said he had his, which means, I mean, we all know what that means. Mm-hmm. He was boffing some of the freaking, Starro chicks that had been taken over. It's like, dude, what is wrong with you?
Maybe even some of the guys, because you were sitting there and
some of the guys, because
I'm gonna have a dozen rodents go. Yeah, that answer may surprise you.
And he said, my answer may surprise you. Exactly. So who knows what he did? But yeah, it was completely ridiculous. And then, you had, like you said, what is his name? Peacemaker. The whole, I would kill women and children, doesn't matter who I'd kill to get it. But at the same time, he was going to kill Ratcatcher too, just like right out in front. And that's in front of, in front of, not Killmonger. What was his name?
Bloodsport.
Bloodsport. Right in front of Bloodsport. And I mean, like, even if he wasn't there, he was still going to do it. And like, dude, you're up, and it's just, yes. And then Starro being Starro, you know what I mean? Being the bad guy to just the ultimate, like, whatever. He did such a good job of every single time the bad guy's going to be there, you absolutely hate that bad guy and you are ready to see them die.
Yep.
He does. It was good. It was a good job. It was,
that scene right there with King Shark and that whole village scene where they realized, whoops, they were the freedom fighters.
Yeah.
But the back and forth on that.
How come my people didn't alert me to your presence? We didn't see anybody. There was nobody here. I didn't know anybody. No, I don't. Absolutely no. Kim, actually, that's the other thing is, not only did he. Hey.
It wasn't us. It wasn't us. The whole neighborhood was out. Apparently.
What's up, Baldy One Kenobi? So we're in the middle of the Suicide Squad.
So hold on. To Kim's point, not only did Starro, did Starro be the bad guy to the point where you're like, oh shit, you're the bad guy, and you're like, I'm ready for them to end Starro. To Kim's point, it's actually the only villain in the entire movie that you identify with.
Yeah.
It's like Thanos. It's the only villain. I mean, dude, it's actually, I gotta say, the more I sit here and think about this, the villains and the way they did this movie is genius. It executed every single villain that needed to be.
Yeah,
they're all treated with no. I'm saying they were all treated with respect.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
and I love I love the fact that as Starro's dying, I was happy amongst the stars. It was like, why did you guys even catch me? I could have spent an eternity just floating and being fine with myself and appreciating the natural beauty of where I was. And instead, for the past however many decades, you guys have kept me here doing this.
Was it 30? Was it 30 years?
Yeah,
30 or 40 years.
Yeah,
it was 30 or 40 years. But yeah, that the victim becomes the villain, because now it's time for the villain. Now it's time for the victim to exact their revenge on the people who deserve that revenge. And it's just.
What I love about it is, even at the end where everybody, you have that moment with Bloodsport where he's like, you know what, if I'm going to die, I don't want to let women and children die. But it did not make him redeemable at all. The redeemable characters in this flick, obviously Ratcatcher 2, with just a beautiful story, background story.
She was never a villain. She was never even never needed to be redeemable for. We don't even know what she did to be caught.
She robbed the bank. That was her
with rats.
With rats.
But her.
I mean, villain.
It could go one way or the other.
Robin Hood. Who knows? I'm just saying.
The one that surprised me the most that I cared about.
Polka Dot
Man.
That
man right there. David
Polka Dot Man,
nailed this role, nailed it, and seeing how, and again, not a shock that he died. Okay, we knew that from the moment that the trailer dropped, where he was like, "I'm a superhero." I was like, "Okay, you're out.
You're dead. Yeah, you're dead."
But how they got there with his story was beautifully done.
Not to mention, I would have loved to have seen more of him in another movie, But his powers were so, like, in this movie. Obviously, in the comic book, it's way different. But in this movie, his powers were so astounding. To be able to throw these polka dots and just disintegrate whatever it's hitting, he could have killed Starro in the next 2 minutes.
Yeah,
literally, just dead. I mean, which is why he had to go.
Yeah. Because that was the thing, and
they need Ratcatcher to make the save.
Ratcatcher.
And it was very. It was still, even when he finally said it, like, even though in the trailer we're watching that and it's like, oh, what a cliched line, but in the movie and in context of him saying that, it meant everything to him, and it paid off. That's what I'll say about this movie. Everything that was set up, James Gunn masterfully paid off every single thing.
He delivered. He delivered on it. He did. Yeah.
And so, like I've talked to ANX and Genesis, and he absolutely hates it, can't stand it. And I just told him, I said, that's just you and DC. You need to get over it. This has been by far one of their best movies that they've done, and I can't wait, because James Gunn has already said, after the Christmas special for Guardians and after Guardians 3, he's coming back to DC. Cool. He's already said, we're talking about other movies in DC, and I, for one, am for it. And he gets characters. Like, someone asked him, hey, would we ever see a rated R Guardians? He goes, no, that's not who they are.
That's not who they are.
He goes, I would not do that to, like, the Guardians or like a Superman or whatever. He goes, Suicide Squad's meant for this. Deadpool meant for that heavy R.
Think about what he could do with. Well, actually, I don't know if it would be a good idea or not, but I like, part of me really does think that if he and Ryan Reynolds could get together on a Deadpool 3,
gosh, I would love that.
It could. The potential. Yeah. Potential for that is great. They killed Milton. Who's Milton?
Who's Milton?
Who's Milton? That Kim. Laughing my ass off at that line, and
he's been with us since the beginning.
Yes, he's been with us the entire time. We've had a guy named Milton with us the entire time, and I didn't know.
The thing is, Idris, Idris sets it up with the was still with us, and then you look over at Harley Quinn, and she's got this look on her face. She goes, "Who's Milton?" And you're just like, "Oh, this is fantastic." I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
That was
and then the fact that she calls him Milton was
and she later she's like, we just spent like 3 hours talking about how the fact that your name was Milton. Nope, no, we didn't. No. She's like, yeah, we did. No, that was way better than hey Quill, do you have any tape?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, it was.
Well, hold on.
I'll give it to you.
It was funnier, but it's the same gag.
It's the same gag, but but it worked.
Yeah, it worked here.
There's like much like James Gunn's tweets. There's a time and a place.
Wow.
And if it's funny, it's funny. When it's not funny, it's not funny. Quill, do you have any tape? Is not funny. We had a guy named Milton with us. Is freaking hilarious because it worked perfectly.
And because from her point of view, she really she didn't have an idea of who Milton was.
Yeah.
Well, but also the other thing is the one thing that I think the movie got technically a lot of things very, very right. Like I love the transitions with the titles that come straight out of Will Eisner's work. All that's great. The thing,
and it also felt a little bit like that Snyder, the Justice League Snyder cut. Those transitions also worked. I kind of felt like that. You could put this movie right behind Justice League, the Snyder cut, and I think it still flows really good.
Yeah, it does. I think it does as well.
But again, the thing that he got right about Harley Quinn, I think they didn't get it right in the Birds of Prey. They didn't get it right in the first Suicide Squad. Although they touched on the Suicide Squad, but I think this one did it better. She is crazy.
Yeah.
Like she is legitimately crazy. That's why the whole Milton gag works. Yeah, Flag knows it, which is why, like you said, it's like the way he hugs her is like with his gun.
Yeah.
It's like I like you, you're my friend, but I understand that you're crazier than a crap house.
There's a gun between me and you at all times. You're a freaking psycho.
But I love
you.
Absolutely.
You're just nuts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're just crazy. So Jason, I think this one gets it right.
You nailed it. You nailed it. Her the president who's taking over, and the fact that she's like, look, I'm sorry. I promised myself that if I ever met another guy, she's like, I have a real bad history with men. If I promised myself if I ever met a red flags, that I would and she's like, that I would kill him. And you're just holy Jesus. Like, and she shoots the guy right in the heart, just blam when he turns around. I can't believe there's a bullet in this,
Yeah, I love that she even, I love that they lampshade the fact that he's got this thing full of guns.
This ornamental pistol that's loaded with a bullet that fires, that works,
And R.I.P. to that beautiful monster between your legs.
Oh, beautiful monster between your legs.
I love the fact that she's like, because here's the problem: the guy's
violent kid gloves. I like that. That's a really good expression, good Kim. That's nice.
Yes, I like that. Nice. But I love the fact that her explanation goes, the problem is the guys I fall for, they're not just bad guys. Like she is like, I've been killing kids. I'm sorry. Like, I just love the fact that she's like, this is why I gotta kill you. Yeah, it's cool.
If we find out you have personal license plates, you die.
You die.
No, that's not it. If you cough without covering your mouth, it's like, okay, those three things.
That's not an invitation.
Although that's not an invitation for you to cough without covering your mouth. That's disgusting.
Yes. So like this got her right, whereas the other movies have absolutely. The first one didn't absolutely fail her. Just it was a different take on her. I think Birds of Prey failed her. But
you know what? I'm going to say this though with what you're saying there. Her and the Joker, right? And I mean Margot Robbie and Jared Leto. Because of the characters they play, you can represent them differently each time you see them, and it will work in the context of the character.
It's because they're insane. It's because of the insanity.
That's
because of that insanity. However, to Jason's point, the insanity here made it flow from the last. Like it made more sense. I still do think that there is something to be said about getting that character right. Because you could portray any type of insanity you want, and it doesn't necessarily make that character or meet that character's needs. And it just, the way they portrayed the character in this film, Harley they did her justice. I do think they did her justice in this film, and it was really, really good. Again, James Gunn's movies, at least the Marvel and the DC movies I've seen recently, for the most majority part, whatever, he gets family.
He does.
They're family films. And I don't mean that in the way of, it's Uncle Buck, but it is.
It's all about family.
It's about family. And this is Uncle Buck. Like
those that are and those that can be.
It's your blood and your chosen family. It's the two, because both mean a great deal to us as we grow. They just do.
Mm-hmm.
They just do.
And I love. Sorry, I'm sorry. Let me let you finish because I'm about to go into a small part here.
No, I was just gonna say it makes a big difference to all of us. I think the older we get as to who's your real family, because you can have blood as your family and you're still kind of like,
Yeah.
I'd let someone get 1 or 2 shots in on you before I jumped in. You know what I mean? Like you'd be like, okay, he deserves that, or she she deserves that. Oh, she shouldn't have said that. Whatever the case may be. Yeah. And then you're like, all right, I got to do something about this. And then there's the other people who are like, don't you ever say don't hurt their feelings.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or I'll put something in your way at night while you're drunk and you break your toe. Like I'll do something to really make you uncomfortable.
I'll drop some Legos on the floor.
I'll do something. Yeah. Or a D4, right? With the point, not the, at least that one you could step on it. Really freaking hurt. But so.
I love the dialogue between her and Bloodsport, where he was like, "You got daddy issues," and she corrected him so fast, where she was like, "No, I do not. I had no doubt that my dad loved me, and I had a great relationship with him. That he had substance control issues is another subject, but it did not impair his love for me." And I love the fact that at the end of that story, when he's finding out, why he doesn't like rats, where she was like, "I wish I could give you what I had." Because she realizes it's, everyone's thinking that she's broken. She's not actually broken. Everyone around her is broken.
Mm-hmm.
And so that by the time you get through the end of the story, like everyone's still very much in their criminal element. They've done something good, but it's not necessarily repairing what they've done in the past. When you talk about Bloodsport or Harley Quinn. And the two people that do get, for sure the one person that gets redemption that's no longer at the end of the movie was Polka Dot Man. And one could argue that Rick Flag is trying hard for his redemption arc by the time he dies. They made you care about Rick Flag so that when his death came, that hit. And it was even more of a sting, the fact that it came from Peacemaker and his final words of Peacemaker. What a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you could tell that really hurt Peacemakers. Like that stung, but it wasn't going to stop who he was and who he is.
No, because it's never going to change him. He's never going to change. He's that guy. He knows who he is. And he showed the same thing with Ratcatcher when he was just like, she says, "Just let me go." And then
I'm thorough.
But the thing is, like, he considered it for just a second. You know what I mean? He just had that moment where he went, but then he was like, "But no, I can't because I have to kill her."
Yeah.
And it wasn't just because he thought, "I have to because I'm a psycho." He rationalized it. And he went, "Well, no. If I don't kill you, you're going to tell somebody. And I was sworn to the fact that I got to make sure this is a secret. So I'm sorry. One way or another, I'm thorough. You got to die." And that was just like ooh, damn. You just like,
Yeah. And I'm interested in the series. They went from saying it was going to be a prequel, and now it's a prequel sequel. It's a prequel sequel.
The prequel was to let us think he could die in the movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to show that we thought he did die.
Yeah.
Like that was, it wasn't until the end credit scene. But
actually, again, that's not true. I noticed that he wasn't dead the second time I watched it.
I'll have to go back and watch it. So,
okay.
But that's it's the illusion of his death.
They did trust me. The placement of this was great, and I'm going to spoil it for you because I don't care because you've seen it once before. Yeah. When everybody's going to go kill Starro, and Waller is like, "Turn the F around," and da da da, "You sons of bitches," and they're all doing that slow smile at each other, and she's like, "Get me that briefcase." They flick the briefcase open. Everybody's dark, except for the ones who are still alive. and Peacemaker is still lit.
Oh, missed that. Yeah, I missed that completely. Good call. His death was sad. It did pull him together at the end, Tim. And the other thing is that Harley legitimately had a place in her heart for him.
She did.
To sit there and go, he was my friend. And she meant that with all, because he was the one person who got her.
And he also believed in her a bit. Like, that's the thing. Is he know you're a good person, someone just did you wrong.
Yeah.
So.
And so, seeing that, it was to me, this was just a good movie. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I thought it was a good flick.
It was.
Definitely up there. Easily top. I'm gonna go top 3 DC movies.
I'm not gonna rate anything. I
wait, of all time or just the DC
of all time?
Of the DCEU.
Jason, raising the stakes of all time.
Well, just asking, because he said DC movies. Well, that takes us all the way back to Christopher Reeve.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Exactly. So just double checking on that one. But yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely top 3. Maybe honestly, dang it, Wonder Woman, the first one. Okay, yeah, top 3.
I still think probably my favorite one's got to be Man of Steel. I think that's so underrated.
I agree it's underrated, but I don't know if it would. Now that we had the Snyder cut, I don't know that it makes the top 3. Top 5, definitely. Maybe even 4.
I would love to see the next 2 Snyder movies, though.
Yeah, I would love to as well.
I really think they should make this a quintuplet. Put it together and just call it a day.
I would love to. And there's rumors that DC is not getting rid of the Snyderverse characters or the actors.
I know. I've seen some of that. I've seen some of that. Yeah.
I'm hoping. And to me, I just, you know what? Pull your head out and let Snyder finish his vision. Let him finish his vision.
Well, but he even said that he's not. Well, okay, go figure. People say things. He said he's not open to it.
Yeah.
He said he wasn't open to the Snyder cut.
Yeah.
Enough fan response and the Snyder cut came around. So it's possible that enough fan response could bring it. But I don't know. It's just. If you just let him do his thing, I know he's got really, really good. Got good content out there. Yeah. Again, I really feel like the drawbacks, you know what I mean, and the problems people have with what he puts out there is a result of a third party influence,
or even
a second party influence, whatever you want to call it. But it's somebody else meddling in his vision. And he's an artist. He's not. There's different directors have different things about them, and they approach things in different ways, and they're good for different reasons.
And it's sad that the brass at DC realized that after he was gone.
Yeah.
They gave James Gunn full reign, and he absolutely nailed it.
He nailed it because he was able to put his vision on this movie, his stamp on this movie, and you get to see what he wanted to create, and people go, "Oh my God, that was fun. That was good. That was touching, humorous, action-packed, thoughtful, gross." Like a lot of it all, it all came together, And it's the same thing. Like each director has their own vision, and some of them are really, really interesting. Some of them are cookie cutter. Some of them, they're all meant to do different things. It just depends on what you like versus what you don't. I don't want to see any more Transformer movies.
Thank God. Or Fast and Furious.
Or Ninja Turtle movies.
Well, hold on. I'm okay with seeing them. I just want to make sure that they're not made by the people who've been making them.
Oh, all right. Fair enough. Good.
There you go.
Good point.
Good point.
Yeah. I don't want to see that guy make any more of those movies.
Not that we're going to have time to talk on it because we've already gone an hour and a half today. But one thing that caught my eye this week for sure, the Star Wars Visions trailer.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to this.
Is it 6 different up and coming or visionary? I forgot how many it was.
I think it's 8.
Is it 8? Anyways, there's several studios that have done a different episode, and some of it looks just listen. This is great. The fact that
beautiful.
the fact that they're doing that's Studio Ghibli right there.
Yeah,
that
it is
absolutely Studio Ghibli right there.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see this. This is much more
9 stories.
9 stories. Okay, so this is much more entertaining. We should kill it now. It's much more entertaining, and I'm much more excited about this than I was at the first few screenshots I saw, because the screenshots I saw were I don't know. They made it look like, and I think it's still going to be that way, which is I'm warming up to the idea behind it. But it was like old world Japan, but with lightsabers, and I'm thinking, I don't know if I'm okay with that, because it seems like such a juxtaposition between technology and period that I wasn't certain if it was going to be good or not. But seeing this, seeing everything come together like this, I'm like, okay, you know what? It makes more sense. Yeah. And being shown that trailer, it definitely makes more sense. And this, Jason, I think you said it earlier this week when I mentioned the M41A Nerf rifle. It's our time.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's finally our time. I get to see the stuff that I grew up enjoying and living and watching and loving, and it's coming into, what we're seeing now, and it's just like, it's still been that way with Marvel and everything else, and all these, the phase 1 through 4 and going into phase 5 now, but even more so now that I get to see anime coming about. Like, I mean, when Saturday Anime first hit back on the WB or Channel 5 or whatever freaking channel it was on, when Akira and Venus Wars and not Howl's Moving Castle, because that was down the way, but there's another one. There's another castle. It's called like Visions or something like that.
Yeah. There was a show came on Channel 21 back when it was UPN. I forget the name of it, but it was a pretty standard mecha thing. But it was one guy, and they had it's like for those of us who grew up loving anime, and it's like it was hard to get anime until now.
It's extremely hard to get anime.
It's like you went to Blockbuster and you were trying to look for the one your mom would let you rent because it didn't have boobs on it. You went to Hollywood Video because Blockbuster did not have the selection that Hollywood Video had. We didn't have Hollywood Video where I was.
Oh,
yes,
man.
Yes, we did.
No, we didn't.
Hollywood Video was across 35 in Lancaster. Don't tell me we didn't have one. We had one.
Dude, Hollywood Video was the shit. That was where you went to get.
That's where we went.
No.
Because that's all we did.
No. Blockbuster had the cookie cutter stuff. Blockbuster had your run of the mill. If you wanted to get outside the bubble and find some interesting things, that's when Hollywood Video was coming into play. That's where you found your Guyver. That's where you found Bow. That's where you found these really ultra violent.
So I know mine had Guyver. That's where I
really.
Found him.
Oh him. To your point, right? Cartoon Network's making them. Netflix has got a full-blown studio. Hulu is going to start doing it pretty soon. Yeah. It's gaining traction, and it's
gaining a lot of traction.
Beautiful,
But it's something that hasn't been like, I don't know. I've got like everything in my life, I have real particular tastes when it comes to anime, much like music and movies and everything else. I mean, I like a lot of stuff, but at the same time, man, I just can't suspend some of my disbelief for watching some of those animes. If it's too comedic, if it's too goofy, if it's too much, if the eyes bug out way too much or people's nose bleed because they get nervous, I'm like, nope, can't do it. I just can't do that stuff. But if it has more of a realistic,
you're like a Ghost of the Shell kind of anime,
much more realistic, sort of heavier-handed Cowboy Bebop, something way more serious. It's just that's my thing, something that's sort of The Stranger, Spriggan, Venus Wars, like all these really, really interesting,
Darkest Black, that kind of thing.
Oh, dude, Darkest Black is amazing. Or black? Is it Blacker Than Black?
Blacker Than whatever it is. Yeah.
Anyways, that one is good,
dude.
We talked about
Champloo is brilliant. I love that.
Samurai Champloo was fun. Samurai Champloo was real. Yeah, no, that's actually. So I'm more of a Cowboy Bebop than I am Samurai Champloo. Samurai Champloo for me was a Cowboy Bebop light. as far as I would consider things. It still had a little bit too much goofiness to it.
I may be more of a fan of history, which is why I love that one a little bit.
That's it, Kim. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Darker Than Black. Yeah. So again, Samurai Champloo to this day I think has one of the best sword fighting scenes in all of media. That last sword fight between Gene and the last sword fight he has between Gene and that assassin. Like that is a sword fight. Like where it's just all straight up. Like, I'm kind of with you on that one. Particularly after now seeing the images, now I'm worried. But it's like you don't ever see, like, it's just flashes of movement, but you see them moving. And it's like their bodies aren't moving all that much, but like the swords are just light. It's brilliant. It's so well done.
There's one, I don't know how popular it is, but I mean, to me, it was so if you were ever a fan of Ninja Scroll, which is a huge Ninja Scroll fan of that movie. There's one called Basilisk.
I know what you're talking about.
Basilisk is the Romeo and Juliet of anime. If you've never seen it, you absolutely have to watch it. I've got it. If you need to borrow it, I'm happy to lend it to you. It's an import, so it's kind of got.
Burn it for Jason.
I don't have.
Don't just give it to Jason. That's you're asking for trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
I've seen how he takes care of stuff. I'm just saying.
I'll have to figure out how to do that because I don't have a burner, so we'll have to see that. Yeah.
You know what? Dude, that's movie night in the theater room. Y'all come over.
Dude. Yeah, no. Ninja Scroll and Basilisk, those two are phenomenal. But yeah, Basilisk, I did not expect that. When I was like, what is this? And I started watching it, and I was just like, holy crap. So it's a couple of things, right? It's the studio doing the animation. It's the story that's being told. It's the realism and how it's done, and it's just it's the lack of goofiness. I mean, Evangelion. Holy crap! You want to talk about I'm just now going through the recent reboot.
I'm doing the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just now really starting.
I had to go back
outside of the classics like Ghost in the Shell or Cowboy Bebop, like some of the stuff that you guys are talking about. Like I am just now starting my venture into there because my son loves it. He's fallen in love with it. So we're learning it together for sure.
Yeah.
No, I had to go back and I had to restart because like the new one, Thrice Upon a Time, just came out and I started that one. And just even in the intro, I'm like, oh, I missed stuff.
Yeah, you can't watch Thrice Upon a Time. That's four movies in, sir.
Yeah. Well, I thought I had seen up to the one before, and clearly I had not. I'm like, and there was stuff happening. Yeah. I'm like, I remember that. What is all this? And it's like it doesn't even have. It was like none of that even had parallels in the show. So I'm like, okay, I gotta go back and watch all this from scratch.
Yeah, I'm a big mech fan as long as it's done well. And I mean, the thing, Kim, for me that I find so interesting about Evangelion is it's not necessarily about the mechs themselves. It's about these kids piloting these mechs.
Yeah.
And the fact that the stress that it puts on them and the knowing a lot of the deeper story and the author's background and what he when he was things like it's a deep dive into somebody's psyche, and it's really fascinating. It's also very tragic, but it's kind of like, actually, I would say if you're looking for a parallel in American literature, so to speak, I would say that Evangelion is on par with Crow and the author. Like,
as far as loss and tragedy,
yeah,
they're right here. Like just their experience and how they go and just like,
Bar is a really interesting person to talk to.
Because you'd met him at one of the Comic-Cons. Yeah.
Well, even more so than that, we've actually.
Yeah, we've hung out.
We've hung out.
Oh, you guys, yeah.
I'll tell you, his least favorite subject to talk about is the Crow.
Is the Crow. Yeah. That was the thing you were telling me about, where he was just like, I don't want to talk about that shit. And why would he?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
I mean, if
he
you
got
know,
screwed hard on that.
not only did he get screwed hard on that, but it's like he put himself out there to deal with a horrible, tragic moment in his life, and
absolutely.
And to have it happen twice, because him and Brandon did become friends before.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot of story there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's another individual we need to reach out to see what we can do. But
dude, if we could get him on the show, that would be fun.
Yeah, agreed.
I'd love to hear his opinion on on the What If series.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Before we go, just real quick on the What If, because I know no one's going to give love to Howard the Duck. I want a Howard the Duck series.
Oh, the Howard the Duck.
Kim gave
actually,
Howard the Duck love.
Yeah,
well,
Kim had mentioned Howard the
you
Duck.
two aren't. Yeah,
No, we talked about a lot today, dude. We're almost an hour and 45. We've talked about a lot today.
I'm just saying. I just want to say I love Howard the Duck. I want a Howard the Duck show based off of the comics, because the movie did not do him justice. But Howard the Duck, the comics, I want him. I want Man Thing. I want dimension hopping. Because him and Man Thing are brilliant.
Did they still have? And I don't remember if it was because I didn't read the credits. But was Seth Green still acting the voice?
Yeah.
If you want to bring an animated Howard the Duck in, I think that would be perfect for Marvel. I think there would be absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. Bring in an animated Howard the Duck. Don't make bring, what was her name? Who's the actress who played?
Wasn't it Leah Thompson?
Leah Thompson.
Oh my God!
Bring Leah Thompson back as a voice actress for one of the characters. Don't even make it the same person, but just bring her back as an Easter egg.
What?
Yeah.
Why not?
Duck egg. I don't give a shit. But just bring her back as whatever it is, and make her a voice in the animated version, just so fans of that would enjoy seeing it. Or seeing the movie, hearing her. I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I don't need the what's her name, Tiffany? I can never remember her name. So I don't need her. I want him. I want Man Thing. I want them.
I want to see them in space. I want to see them in Space Adventures. I just want to enjoy Howard the Duck as an action character, comedic hero.
It was close. Hulu had it. Kevin Smith wrote the pilot, and Marvel decided to turn it down. It was that close?
Nope. I don't want Kevin Smith involved with it.
Yeah,
I'm with Sean on this
exactly.
one.
I don't want Kevin Smith involved with it. Listen, I'm a fan of Kevin Smith's. I enjoyed his movies. He has a place in my heart. I don't want him involved with that. I don't.
Fair enough. Jason, on that note, kind of out. Before Sean goes off on a tangent.
Don't get me started, man. Please don't.
We thank you for putting up with this, with whatever this thing is that we
all
do
two of you
every Saturday. All two of you. We do appreciate that, and all we ask is that you give our friend Jeremy over at Titan Comics the opportunity to win your business. Go spend money with him. He's a good guy. He's got everything you want. He's got your comics. He's got your collected editions. He's got your toys. He's got your figurines. He's got your statues. He's got manga. He's got everything. He's got your big picture books that are wrapped up because they got nudie stuff in them. Whatever it is that you want, he's got. So go pay him a visit, either at his physical location in Dallas, or you can go visit him online, www.titancomics.com, or call and say, hey, I'm looking for this one thing very specific. He'll probably say, yes, I do, or I can get it for you. He's got all your geeky accoutrement. Go do it.
It has been a pleasure as always. Please be kind, be respectful to each other.
Be kind and respectful to each other.
It's hard enough as is, so do everyone a solid. And until next time, stay vagabond, my friends.
Yes.